It's called Nana Ki Kranti, and it's a mixture of Krantiveer and Hera Fairy. I don't know how those two words come together.
But have you guys watched Nana Ki Kranti?
I haven't.
They are fortunate they haven't.
Shady films also dekhe aapne?
हाँ वो भी देखे हैं छुप के जाते थे
No, I think what has really given a push to shady content is social media. If you ask me, it wasn't video parlors.
You're stealing from me and that's going to upset me. But if you just have no access to it, then I'd rather you watch it than not watch it.
I'm a product of piracy.
Of
That's how
course.
I watched
You know?
films when I was growing up. Mr. Bachchan for me was like the ultimate hero.
Yeah.
And it is one of my favorite films. I don't remember seeing another film that made me feel so sad, like, you know, when Jay dies. As a kid, you know, because films were mostly like happy.
Hello everyone, welcome to News 18. I am Titas Chowdhury in conversation with Zoya Akhtar, Vineet, Kumar, Singh, Reema Kagti, Adarsh Gourav and Shashank Arora. So as I was telling you, I watched the film yesterday and I really had a fabulous time watching it. And it beautifully celebrates cinema, friendship, dreams, all of that. So Zoya, like I was asking you, what was Javed Saab's reaction really like when he met Nasir Shaikh for the first time, since he parodied, I think, Sholay and Shaan, both of those films?
I think it's a mixture of charmed and impressed. Flattered as well.
Flattered?
Yeah, and impressed. Because, I mean, Nasir is a very... he's very charming when you meet him. And at the same time, what he's done is incredible, you know. He's where they didn't have they didn't have equipment, or he had a little video camera. He set up an industry, and that's
Absolutely. Great. Adarsh, I think you had actually produced a film for Mr. Nasir Shaikh.
I did.
You put in 20K, that's what we have heard.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? What happened?
It was basically, we were in Malegaon together and just hanging, chilling, talking about stuff and films and family and, you know, where we come from, our dreams. And I said, Nasir bhai, why don't you make a film?
Hanji.
And he hadn't made a film in 12 years.
Really?
Yeah, he had taken a break from direction. So he instantly agreed. And then he got all these people together and we scripted over like 3 or 4 years, figured out the production, and I told him that I won't interfere creatively at all. I'll just be a fly on the wall. My intention is just to watch you make a film. What's amazing is that even after 12 years, when he decided to make a film, he made a parody. It's called Nana Ki Kranti, and it's a mixture of Krantiveer and Hera Fairy. I don't know how those two words come together. Only Nasir can do that. But he took Babu Rao's character and Nana Patekar's character from Krantiveer.
Wow.
And created a film. So the same actor played a double role actually. And that actor and his brothers own a production house in Malegaon. One of the many people who own production houses in Malegaon, where they, you know, make content for YouTube. So yeah, we made the film and we put it on YouTube, and while doing that I thought I might as well shoot my own documentary of it. So I also shot my own version of behind the camera of the making of this film.
But have you guys watched Nana Ki Kranti?
I haven't.
They are fortunate they haven't.
I watched a bit because I knew it was out. Remember you told me why it was out before we started shooting.
What did you think of it?
You know, it's pure Nasir. Yeah, but I think that it's kind of revived him, because since then he and we've been talking, and we've had several calls where he's developing ideas and he wants to direct again, so it's beautiful.
When was the first time you watched a film of Nasir, if I may ask all of you? Or was it during the making of this film that you...
I watched...
before.
I watched... I mean, I had watched the documentary before.
No, but
and loved
his
it.
film,
But
yeah.
Nasir's film, I watched only for research once I came on to this film.
Okay, what about the rest of you?
Same.
टाइम पास के लिए हम लोग देखते थे
आपने देखा हुआ था पहले?
मेरा पूरा झुंड देखता था
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
कुछ उठा के देख लिया थोड़ा कुछ देखा
So you have watched Shaan ka parody also, Sholay and all of that. Sholay. Shashank, what
I've
about
seen
you?
clips of his films. I hadn't seen the whole film still. Our film started, and then I researched on what he'd done.
Okay, so this was also the first time that Mr. Javed Akhtar also met him, or did they interact earlier?
No, I think before we got into filming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You know, very interestingly, you run this parlor, video parlor in the film, and we don't get to see much of that, especially, of course, in Bombay. Maybe it still exists in tier 2, tier 3 cities. Do you have any fond memories, any one of you, of going to a video parlor, watching pirated films ever?
And there's a video parlor in Kamatipura. There are video parlors
Still?
in Bombay. Yes.
Oh, okay.
There are video parlors in Bombay. There's single screens with 10 rupee tickets and you can still go watch a movie. That being said, I've never visited one apart from filming in one of them. I think my first film was in a single screen in Delhi. Savitri, it's called. Yeah, I've never been to like a movie room, what is it called?
Okay.
I used to, there was a single screen theatre in Jamshedpur called Pile Talkies.
Okay.
And we used to go watch films there, like, once every year or something. The unique thing about that was the way people celebrated excitement was they used to carry a sharp object, and when they would love the film, they would stab it to the seat and tear the seat and then get the styrofoam out and throw the styrofoam everywhere. So every time there was a good film, the entire theatre used to get torn apart.
This is why they stopped making good films only. They were like, "Humko good film
That's how they used to celebrate it. Okay.
No, but back in the day, I remember people used to also throw coins on the street.
Yeah.
As
They
a
still
kid,
do it at Gaiety, by the way.
yeah, as a kid, whenever we went, like whenever I went to watch a movie I was in a place called Dig Boy, we had 2 single screens.
Assam.
We would always carry coins, and if something was good, we used to throw it on the screen.
But no video parlor experience.
They were actually, but I was never obviously allowed in them.
Okay.
But I think it was a very, back when I was growing up in the 80s, 90s, it was a very male experience. I don't think as a kid my parents would allow me to go there, but they were video parlors.
विनीत आपका कुछ याद है?
बहुत सारी देखी हम लोगों ने.
Shady films also देखे हैं?
हाँ, वो भी देखी हैं, छुप के जाते थे.
But I think that how this Malegaon industry started, the interesting thing was it's just a small town comprising mainly of loom workers, and it had, I think, 2 theatres and about 14, 15 video parlors. And that's why they were able to, kind of come up with this absolutely almost parallel video film industry. So people would kind of make a film on 30,000, 50,000. But if the film was good, it would get picked up by all the video parlors, and eventually they would make a couple of lakhs, and so it became a parallel industry which is so fascinating.
Also, Khandeshi is a very specific language, and the people from Malegaon love listening to dialogues in Khandeshi. It also has a certain sense of humor, like, the specific to Khandesh.
Right.
So there's a lot of context in the films.
But I think video parlors also gave rise to a lot of shady content, don't you think?
Yeah, of course.
In the sense that, it sort of urged people on prodded people to come and,
दो
have
फिल्में
their...
मिक्स भी होती थी.
No, I think what has really given a push to shady content is social media. If you ask me, it wasn't video parlors. Because they were still just, illegally, say, taking VCDs and all, but doing very popular films.
Right.
Yeah, like I remember seeing posters outside the video parlors. It was a lot of kung fu movies, Bruce Lee films, that kind of stuff. It wasn't shady content at all.
Okay.
In fact, I feel video parlors they have a wider avenue of release because video parlors can play a German film from the 30s, or they can play, a very commercial film from India. I think video parlors are actually open in terms of distribution. Then it's not that they're bracketed to shady films at all. They play anything and everything. An art movie from Korea will come in. It's quite amazing in that sense. I don't feel it's a breeding ground for shady behavior at all. It's a place where people who can't afford films go and watch a film for 10 rupees. And that's very important for films, for us, all of us.
But Vineet, आप कुछ कह रहे थे कि क्या 2 films का mix? What were you saying?
हाँ, वो वीडियो पार्लर्स में ये सब होता है. मैंने जो मतलब देखा है कि एक फिल्म चल रही है, उसके साथ कुछ और लगा दिया. तो जाते थे हम लोग देखने.
But that's how Nasir started.
Right.
Nasir's
No, but he's talking about shady stuff.
Shady
Nasir's
stuff
never
he's
done
talking
that.
Acha, no, I meant
Nasir's
like
never done that.
doing a jam. No, I didn't
never.
mean shady films.
Yeah.
But doing like a mashup of different films.
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, actually, no, we saw some. Sorry, I'm so sorry. But I think we saw something else in the film where there was a little copy paste happening, some manipulation
Yeah,
happening.
he was mashing up
Yeah,
to
mashing
different
up
films.
basically.
So he was
Right.
cutting from action sequence to action sequence.
Right,
And
right.
that was like, like taking a dialogue from Zoya's first film. It was highlight to highlight.
जैसे
That's correct.
गाने होते थे तो
Yeah.
कैसेट लेके आया और एक गाना इसका रिकॉर्ड कर लिया, फिर 2 गाने उसके रिकॉर्ड कर लिए, तो अपनी कैसेट बना ली हमने कि ये सारे मेरे गाने हैं इसमें.
To me, what is so interesting is that was Nasir's introduction to filmmaking. You know, video editing.
Video editing, that's correct. Zoya, I think at one of the international film festivals where this film was screened, I remember you saying that, you know, if in a small town, my film is unable to have a release, I wouldn't have a problem if people are trying to, you know, watch a pirated version of it.
See, for me, like if people cannot access my film legitly, I mean, not because they're choosing to see it pirated and it's available on screen, obviously that's, you're stealing from me and that's going to upset me. But if you just have no access to it, then I'd rather you watch it than not watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, the rest of you?
Yeah.
What's your thought on this?
I mean, I'm a product of piracy.
Of
That's how
course.
I watched
know?
films when I was growing up. They were all VCDs and videos, and you know, that was how I grew up. And I think that on a level, there's something very democratizing about piracy, because it's, yes, you know, there are people who can afford to pay for it. Let's put that aside. But there's a whole lot of people who cannot afford it or cannot access it. And I'm happy for them, like Zoya is saying, to watch it, because I feel art should not have economic borders.
Very true. Yeah. Anything?
The most common birthday gift I remember when I was growing up was to burn a CD of a popular game or of a popular film that you couldn't get your hands, when you couldn't get your hands onto the original. So some guy who could, who had probably traveled to Bombay or to another country even, he would have that. And then anybody else who had to give a gift would go to that guy's house, burn it into a blank CD, and then give it as a gift to somebody else. That's the only way I have known, you know, when I was growing up. So it was, piracy was like a big part of us growing up, and yeah.
एक लंबे समय तक तो यही नहीं पता था कि इसे पायरेसी कहते हैं.
Like we didn't even know that this is something that you shouldn't be doing. It was much later when we were like, oh, ये piracy होता है, ये गलत होता है.
जैसे कॉपीराइट तो हमें पता ही नहीं था कि ये क्या चीज होती है. तो बस ये पता था फिल्म है, फिल्म तो देखनी है भाई, कहाँ से मिलेगी वो मालूम नहीं. कौन लेके आएगा, तू विजेता, तू भाई तू लेके आ. अपने को तो पिक्चर देखनी है. तो हमें ये नहीं पता था, मतलब मैं बनारस में पला बड़ा हूँ, मुझे ये नहीं पता था कि हम जो फिल्म खोज रहे हैं वो कैसे आई हमारे पास. सबको बोल दिया गया है भाई सब कहीं से लेके आओ.
और उस टाइम ये समझ नहीं थी सिस्टम की ये करने से डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर या प्रोड्यूसर को नुकसान हो रहा है. You know, ये अब समझ है कि अच्छा ये नहीं करना चाहिए क्योंकि इससे ये होता है, कॉन्सिक्वेंस ये है.
No, but now you also have access to it.
Correct.
It's the people that have access to it and choose to steal it. Those people are a problem. But someone that has no access to it, there's no way of getting it, then I'd rather you watch it however you get it.
Exactly. Both are different things.
They're different things.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's true. But guys, we'll have to talk about Sholay, because you know we see a parodied version of it in the film. Now I really want to go back and watch Nasir Shaikh's version of Malegaon Ke Sholay. That's what the film is called. Zoya, of course, you are born to Mr. Javed Akhtar, but for the rest of you, how, and it's going to be what, 50 years of Sholay this year.
It is.
How much were you impacted by that thing on screen, by that film?
Tremendously. Like growing up, Mr. Bachchan for me was like the ultimate hero.
Yeah.
And it is one of my favorite films. Like I have very clear memories of, you know, going on bugging my mom and going on like wanting to go and watch it again and again. It had, I mean, like I think a lot of Salim Javed's films, they really were a huge part of my growing up. And therefore this film, you know, that's another layer for me in that this film, because it was, you know, I think that Mr. Bachchan had a huge impact on Nasir too. Like all our influences are similar, you know, whether it's Bruce Lee or Mr. Bachchan. So yeah, that was another layer in this whole layered film that we call Superboys of Malegaon.
But did it influence you as a maker in any way? The film Sholay?
Yes, of course. I think it was your, you know, ultimate friendship story. It was sad. I don't remember seeing another film that made me feel so sad, like, you know, when Jay dies. As a kid, you know, because films were mostly like happy.
Yeah.
And a hero, I can't remember. I think as a kid, that was the first film where one of the main leads died. And in this way, you know, in this heroic way with that coin that actually had, I think it definitely added to my love for drama and script writing.
It was magical, I think.
Yes,
Absolutely.
completely, and all the characters, and
Guys, what about you guys?
Sholay.
Sholay?
Resonates so deeply with it. Yeah, you fell in love with this village. I remember the theme song. I remember them playing a harmonica on his bike, and I was like, you're in love with them. When I was a child, I was in love with them. In that film, it's fascinating. You fall in love with all the little characters, Asrani and that, and this, and it's magical, right? You feel like your country is there in front of your eyes, and you want to ride that film.
Right.
It's just magical. Sholay.
मेरे लिए मतलब शोले बहुत सारी, जितना भी बात की जाए कम है, और सबकी बहुत सारी यादें हैं जो शोले से जुड़ी हुई हैं. बहुत सारे कमाल के किरदार हैं. कभी ऐसा सोचा नहीं था कि एक सीन में कोई आएगा और उसे 50 साल बाद भी याद रखा जाएगा. ये लिखाई का जादू है. अंकल मेरे, ये लोग ये बताते थे कि जब वो लोग BHU में पढ़ रहे थे बनारस में, थिएटर के बाहर स्पीकर रहता था, अंदर पिक्चर प्ले होती थी, और लड़कों को ये होता था 40 मिनट है हमारे पास, भाई चल रहा है क्या. साइकिल से वो लोग थिएटर के बाहर, लोग वो अकेले नहीं होते थे, डायलॉग सुनते थे बाहर, और उनको पता होता था कि पिक्चर यहाँ पहुंच चुकी है, और सब ऐसे सुनते थे जैसे ध्यान लगा हुआ है कहीं. कितने आदमी थे, बाहर आवाज चल रही, क्राउड खड़ी है, चुप, सब चुप. तो ये है जादू सिनेमा का.
They used to print all the dialogue track on long play on
LPs.
LPs. Farhan used to, we had them when we were kids. Farhan used to keep listening to them. He used to just play it and listen to it.
But the fact that we saw that in Angry Young Men also, the fact that the film, it became a rage. It took for it, a little time for it to become a rage. Zoya, you were very young back then, but do you have any stories, that your mum or maybe Farhan told you, or what the situation was?
Farhan is younger than me. He'll be very upset. He's 1 year younger than me. He'll be like,
So sorry.
Yeah.
you should have kept that.
I should have kept
So
it
honestly, Zoya's problem is she's too honest. For her own good.
So sorry. No, but do you have any whatever, based on whatever your parents told you, what the situation was at home, because
I don't remember. We were very, very young.
You were very
young.
young.
Very young. We were like 4 and 3 and stuff like that. But later we found out that it released and nobody was going in to the theatre. And there was an emergency meeting, I think, at Mr. Bachchan's house or Mr. Sippy's house. And everybody was like, what should we do? Should we change the end? Should we recut it? Should we take some things out? And everybody was like, just wait. Let's just wait and let's give it some time and let's not jump the gun. And that's it. It picked up a week in. 1 week it was nothing. Then they picked up and it ran for 7 years in one cinema.
Basically, I think it was word of mouth.
It was word of mouth.
Very true. Very true.
I mean, a lot of things have changed, but this one thing about films, like, we were talking about it earlier, whether it's any kind of film, any film that has good word of mouth, rarely does it not have a good outcome.
But the theatres also have to give it that time to grow.
But अभी ऐसा लगता है क्या कि word of mouth से grow होने के लिए अभी के समय में हम लोगों के पास वक्त मिलता है?
Yeah, we don't get time.
Every Friday there is something.
Yeah, we don't get time for the film to grow.
That's what saying, that you need to have patience for that. Because it's, for it to start, people sample the film, they like it, and then they start going into the theatre. You have to have a little patience, and you have to let things grow.
But the window is also very short.
That only is a problem.
Yeah.
But because the word of mouth actually is the only thing that really people are believing.
That's
and not even the word of mouth on social media. The word of mouth, like my peers, my friends, my people I trust, people whose tastes are aligned to mine. When they are like, listen, I saw it, I liked it, it won't matter. You're going to go see it. That matters,
Absolutely, and hope that happens with Superboys of Malegaon as well. All the very best to all of you. And Zoya, hopefully, for all those people who say that Zoya only portrays rich people problems.
Gully boy?
No, mostly people say that. The heart was there. The heart was there.
Guys, 1 second. We don't need to justify this.
No,
I'm sorry.
This allegation
People can say what they want. I will make what I like.
मेरे अंदर तो ये सवाल
Zaya, we justify this.
Please put me in next privileged person.
आप दोनों लोगों के माइंड में कैसे एक्सपीरियंस है?
I know.
कि किस रेंज की फिल्में और कैसे कैसे किरदार को
Having
आप
said
जिम्मा करते
that, whatever is done, may I tell you, wherever I go,
Yeah.
people only ask me to remake the rich film. Let me just put that in. The only thing I'm asked all over is when am I doing that rich film again?
film
So yeah, so I'm okay with it. People can say what they want.
Great. But that was not, these are not my words, by the way, Zoya. I'm just the
Of
internet.
course, they're not your words.
But thank you so much. All the very best for this one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please watch the film.
Yes,
on the
I
28th.
have watched it and hopefully more
Everybody.
people will. Yeah.
Thank you.